Well, hello, all my friends. Welcome back to the channel, or if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. My name is T, and this is my YouTube channel, Crumpus Tea and Sewing. So today I want to share with you a few things that I have been sewing for April. So I haven't been much of a sewing bug this April as I was last year, but I have done a few things. And so I want to go ahead and share with you some of the things that I've been sewing. And then also I want to share with you a few goodies that I picked up this past week. And then also I want to go ahead and share with you some adjustments and things that I have been doing to some of the patterns that I have been sewing. So let's go ahead, get into today's video, and I'm going to start with the goodies that I have picked up. So if you are not following Nateida of So Natural Dane, I'll go ahead and put her handle here on the in the video so you can go over and check her out. She goes by So Natural Dane, and she goes by that handle here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. And she has a shop, and I'll try to make sure that I link her shop in my description box below so you can go over and check out her shop. And she sells all kinds of things. She sells buttons. She also sells garment labels and fabric. It's just a wonderful little shop. And so she recently connected with Pigeon Wishes. I think her name is Megan, and she's based out of the UK. Nateida was able to get buttons from her. And so Nateida now has buttons in her shop from Pigeon Wishes. And so I decided to pick up a few because I absolutely love Pigeon Wishes buttons, but the shipping, international shipping is always really expensive. And so I was able to pick these up from Nateida's shop. And look at these buttons. They are so beautiful. It's like a marble colored button that have purple, blue, white, some darker blues there, some navy blue in there. And this is a pack of 15. And I believe these are 5/8 of an inch buttons. So yeah, I love those. I picked up another set here of 15. Again, 5/8 of an inch button. And this is, I forget the name of this one, but this one I think is called Cherry Blossom or Cherry Bomb or something like that. So gorgeous. And I love the different colors of red and pink and white in this. So beautiful. And then lastly, I picked up this pack here. Now this pack only has 6 buttons, but as you can see, this is a 1-inch size button. So really gorgeous. And look at the colors on those. Now I did pick this setup with a particular project in mind. I want to make the Friday Pattern Company's Patina blouse with a navy blue rayon challis with these buttons. So I think that would be so gorgeous. And then for this, I think I'm going to make a shirt dress with this, and I haven't decided what fabric. I just saw the buttons and I thought I have to have these. And then for these, again, I think a really nice navy blue solid color fabric would look really good with this. And I'm thinking about maybe a cotton lawn or a cotton poplin or something like that, or either a pink colored shirt or poplin fabric. So that is what I picked up from my haul from Nateida's shop, and I'm really excited about that. I also picked up this past week this fabric here. Me and my husband, we went to Indianapolis, and that's quite a drive for us. It's not far, but it's quite out of the way. And we were doing some things in Indianapolis, and I decided to stop in the local Joann because I wanted to pick up the latest Vogue pattern. So Vogue Patterns was on sale last week, and I saw this beautiful rayon linen, and my Joann does not carry this. And I was just like, wow, this is absolutely stunning. I love it. I love it. And it's a rayon linen. And Joann has been starting to carry a lot of rayon linens lately, but not enough that we have like a huge variety to choose from. And so I was really happy and pleased when I saw this. and I thought, hey, I have to get that. And so I picked this up with a specific purpose in mind. So now we're going to go ahead and get into what I've been sewing and what I am sewing this week. I've been following this creator over on Instagram. Her name is Jessalicious. Well, she goes by Jessalicious, but her handle is at Jessalicious Closet, and her name is Jessica. And so I'll go ahead and put the information here in the video so you can go over and follow her. But she just recently came out with her first design of trousers, and they are called the Tapioca Trousers. And she did say, so she created a group chat, and she did say we can share as much as we want. So that's why I'm sharing. Usually I don't share any information about testing because most design companies are really, hush. They want to keep it hush hush until the release date. But she doesn't mind. And so I am thinking about using this fabric here for the Tapioca Trousers. Now I am in the process of still testing that pattern, and I'm going to go ahead and put an image here on the screen here so you can actually see what the trousers look like. As you can see, it has a waistband. You have a front fly with a zipper in the front. The trousers are very relaxed and very kind of like a wide leg drapey fit. And so you're going to be looking for fabrics such as your linens, your rayon linens, and those types of fabrics, your twills, things like that, that has some drape, maybe even gabardine. And I was also thinking about using this fabric here for that as well, which is a really nude linen fabric. It has a little bit of rayon as well, but it doesn't have as much rayon as this. But it's a nude color, and as you can see, because it's just so light, it almost looks like muslin. And so I'm kind of second guessing myself as to whether I want to use this, because I don't want it to look like a mock-up. So yeah, but I thought about using this, and I already washed and pressed this one. This was ready to go. This one still needs to be washed. And then lastly, I thought about using this fabric here, which is a kind of like an abstract black and gray print. It is a tinsel denim, and I purchased this from Joanne several years ago, about 2 years ago now, maybe almost 3. So yeah, I absolutely love this, and I thought about using this for the trousers. I do have enough that I can actually make a top as well. If I do make a top, I will be making the Friday Pattern Company. So this is a good segue into me talking about this, because I have been working on this, and I have a mock-up that I have done of this as well. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Okay, so let's first start with the mock-up. So this is what my mock-up looks like here. As you can see, it's just a regular pattern block here. It's not anything like real fancy. You just have your front, which is cut twice, and your back, which is cut on fold. And you have dome sleeves, so you don't have to worry about sleeves. Now, I did a few changes and adjustments to my original pattern. And so I will share with you the changes that I have done and why I made those changes. So I just thought maybe I should just share with you my process and my feedback on this, so that way when you go into making this, you'll have some insight. And then I'll also do a pattern review of it and explain in more detail about the garments that I have made at that point. Right now, I just have the mock-up done. So I want to say here first, the instructions here says that the recommended fabrics are light to medium weight woven fabrics such as linen, rayon, tinsel, silk, or cottons. And when you have woven fabrics that are similar but also different, such as your linen versus your silky type fabrics, you're going to get a different drape. Even linen and rayon. Rayon and tinsel have similar drapes depending on what kind of tinsel you're getting. However, your cottons and your linens are going to be less drapey, and a lot more stable than your rayon and your tencel and your silk fabrics. And so what I have, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because what I have found when making my mock-up, because this is a 100% cotton muslin fabric, you have a stiff drape here. And so I selected the size, let's see, I selected the size large, and that size just did not work for me. Now, according to the instructions here, so you have your size chart here, which is just kind of your body measurements, and then you have your finished garment measurements on here as well. And so for the size large, that's 44 inches for the bust. Now my finished bust measurements measure at 39 to 40. And so I should have had about 4 to 5 inches of ease. I did not feel that at all. I did not feel that. Now, while I was able to put the garment on and take the garment off, I didn't have 4 to 5 inches of ease. I think I had maybe 2. And so it was quite snug. And then the waist as well, it says 40. I would slightly agree. The biceps, I didn't have any issues with that, but I also didn't measure the biceps. And so you'll have to stand by. I'll let you guys know later on with the biceps, especially for people like me who struggle and need to know. But I can tell you right now, it does have quite a bit of room. And so that 21.5 is probably spot on because it does have quite a bit of room. Now, again, because I was working with this cotton fabric, that could have been the reason why I was not feeling that 44 inches for the bust. So I went up to the size extra large. And for the extra large, let's see here. It's saying 46 and a half inches. So I was able to get another 2 inches or so from that. And that did feel more like it was more comfortable, and it did feel more like the 44 in my opinion. So that's what I've been working on here. I've been working on this mock-up of this, and then I also made a change to the neckline, and I will share with you why. Although this is a plunging neckline, it is very easy to kind of pick a point near the fullest part of your bust and sew up to that point because of the shape of the garment. And so that, if you're concerned about that, I would say that wouldn't be much of an issue. I tested it out and it was fine. Also, what I like about this pattern is it has a adjustment line near the bust area. And so you can shorten or lengthen it, which would also give you more coverage without actually doing like a full bust adjustment or anything like that. And so I'll share with you my traced out pattern pieces that have all of the information on it so you can see what I'm talking about. I decided to make facings for the back neckline and the front neckline. The pattern calls for bias binding that you're going to create, and I didn't quite like the bias binding on it because it just didn't work for me. And so I decided to just go ahead and create facings, because I feel like with the facings you will get a better drape around your neck than the bias binding, and it will add a little bit more stability and support than the bias binding. And so that's why I created the facings. And so I'll share with you real quickly what those look like. So here are my pattern pieces here. All right, so this is the back pattern piece here. And as I mentioned before, it has this adjustment line here. And so you can cut the pattern and you can add however much you want in this section here to give you more coverage, or for it to drape better around your breast if that's what you need. And so that's what I did. I added 1 inch, and I retested the pattern after doing the first mock-up, and it's really great with that adjustment there. And as you can see here, I added that extra large size in. I started with the large, but I added the extra large in because that fits better. I created a center back seam here because the pattern pieces are so wide. You can't get them next to one another, like on, say for instance, if you're trying to put two pieces next to each other on a 60-inch wide fabric or whatever, because the sleeves are so wide, you're not going to be able to do that. And just depending on what kind of fabric you're using will determine if you're able to make this pattern. I don't know if you can make this on a 45-inch wide fabric. But I'll check that and let you know later. But I decided to put a center back seam back here just in case I needed to save fabric or whatever. But it is cut on fold. But I just created, you know, a 1/2 inch of seam allowance there so that I can put it, so I can cut it out twice as well. Now for the neckline, in terms of creating my facings, oh, the other adjustment that I did add a 1/2 inch to the fullest part of the bust area here to give me a little bit more coverage, because for the mock-up, I did find that it was a little bit too open for me. And so I added a little bit more. And then the original notch for stopping, for the stopping point where you sew up the center seam here was here. I added another inch here. I adjusted it to another inch so that it can bring it in a little bit more and I don't have too much showing there. And then for my facing, all I did for my facing is I just traced out, after I did all of my adjustments, I just traced out the neckline here and created a front facing. I don't know if you can see that or not because it's transparent, but I created a facing by starting with this outer line here. And then I went in 2.5 inches, top and bottom, and 2.5 inches to the center. And I just drew that line to complete the facing there. So that's the front facing. And then for the back facing, I basically did the same thing. And so I have my back facing here. So remember, this is the center back seam here. Let me bring it down some. So remember, this is the center back seam, and you probably won't need to create, you know, two pieces. You always want to put your back piece on fold anyway, so it has more stability. And so there is the back facing there. I traced out the back facing, and I did the same measurements for the back facing as I did for the front. So I went 2.5 inches over and 2.5 inches down, and then I just made my curve there. So really straightforward and really easy. So that's what I did for that project. And I have a few fabrics in mind, and I'll share with you those upcoming plans in my May sewing plans video. So that'll be coming up soon. We're about to enter into May, and so you'll see all the fun things that I'm going to be making with this pattern as well as other patterns. The next pattern I've been working on and mock-up is for the Sagebrush top. So this is another Friday Pattern Company pattern. I love Friday Pattern Company. And so I made the size, originally I made the size medium, and I found that the medium was a little bit too snug. And so I went up to the size large, but I also found that the large was it has a little bit more room than I wanted to have. I think the jump from medium to large could have been a little bit, I guess, maybe smaller. So I would probably grade in between the medium and the large when I do my final garment. The problem with the neckline is there are two problems that I have found. Number one, for me, it was just way too high. Now, if you look at the models here, you can see like her neckline is lower, but hers is a little bit higher. So I don't know if this model had adjustments done to her pattern because it's a little bit lower. Hers sit a little bit higher, or if it's because of their bust and their size, I don't know. But what I have found is this band, if you have a bias binding that you're going to create, and there's a pattern that they give you inside the pattern to create bias binding, and you're going to use that bias binding for the neckline and also for the back for the tie, because in the back of the neckline, the neck opens. You have like a little keyhole here, and then you have those the ties extend from the bias binding that you're going to create, and then you just tie off the top of the top. Now, I really like this style. You have like a yoke. The yoke is cut out twice in the back. In the front, you have a yoke, and that yoke is cut out once on fold. And then you have this gathering here that's in the center of the front of the garment. But you also have a pattern that you can make a little frill for, and the frill goes on top of that. I felt like that was kind of, I don't know, it's odd to have this gathering underneath the frill. But if you don't want to add the frill, then you have nice gathering on the top. So I like it for that reason, but I don't know if that's the purpose of the design, so that you can have either or both. So I don't know, but I thought that was a little bit odd. But the frill, I didn't include it into this version, but I did include it into the last version. And so that pattern fits perfectly across the bust. I will say for the sleeve pattern, the sleeve head was quite high, and I had to shorten the cap by a ½ inch. And then also you have quite a bit of gathers on this pattern. I really do like the gathers. You have quite a bit of gathers, which is really fun, because usually when you have a sleeve pattern that have gathers, sometimes you have to spread the gathers out, and they look really thin and not, you know, very nice and present, you know what I mean? And so I really like that the gathers are all even and very, very nice. So I like that about the garment. And then also for the sleeve pattern, because it's a puff sleeve and it's a wide sleeve, and you put elastic at the end of the sleeve. I didn't do that here because it's a mock-up, but it's a really nice roomy size sleeve pattern. So I didn't have to do any adjustments for my sleeve pattern. Now you'll see a few lines like this line here, this seam line here. This doesn't go with the pattern. It's just, I didn't have enough muslin to test the garment. And so I went and got old muslin and attached this to this so that I can create a muslin. But this line doesn't go here. That's just me figuring out the top here. I really like the way that it turns out, but like I said, the neckline was just one that was just putting me off. The neck band, that part just kept sticking up, and it would not lay flat no matter how many times I cut the curves and all that in the neckline. It just kept sticking up. And so that bothered me. And so I removed the ties and I created facings, and I like facings anyway. And so I did the same method that you saw with the other pattern from Friday Pattern Company. I did that same method. I just created facings by following the design of the pattern for front and back. And that's what I did. Now with this one, because you have that vent in the back, I did have to cut 2 pieces for my facings. And I just attached the facings to here. And then I cut my bias binding in half, and I used 2 1/4 pieces. So I cut it in half, and then I cut it again. So I had 2 1/4 pieces of that bias binding, and I attached it to the top here for my ties. And so so that's basically what I did for this. You're not seeing all of that because I kind of removed a lot of the work and stuff, because I'm still playing with it. But let me share with you the fabric I want to use for this. So here's the fabric that I want to use. And it's really gorgeous. Fabric that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. It's definitely a spring colored fabric. It's a rayon challis. And I have quite a bit here. I can make either a dress, because I'm thinking about turning this into a dress with a little flounce at the bottom, which I think would be really cute. Or I could just do a top, and then with the top, I'll just pair it with a skirt. And so I've been working on a navy blue skirt that I think would look really great with this. And it is the Megan Nielsen's Brumby skirt, and I've made it several times before, and I'll put images here so you can see what it looks like. But let me go ahead and share with you what I've been working on with that pattern. So this is the Megan Nielsen's Brumby skirt, and you have 3 different views. Now, I will say for this skirt, you do have really, really large oversized pockets, and it takes a lot of fabric. I have made this variation here multiple times. I haven't made this variation yet with the oversized pockets, just simply because the pockets take a lot of material, and I haven't been willing to commit my material to these pockets yet. I just have to find the right kind of material for facings. This is a skill level 2, which is basically an advanced beginner pattern, which is really fun and easy to sew. But I am using this really beautiful Georgette fabric. Now it's quite thin, so I have to line it. So yeah, it's really gorgeous. And it is a blue fabric, you can see. And I've started this project. And so I have my pieces cut out. I have my waistband pieces cut out. And that's what I'm going to be sewing here this week. So hopefully Monday I'll get started on this and finish this up. So I already cut that out, and then I made a lining for it. So now the lining doesn't have gathers, so I had to calculate based on the waistband measurements how much fabric I would need to make this underskirt. So yeah, so that's what I have been working on. That is my video for today. I'm excited. I'm really excited to be getting a lot of these things done. Thank you all for tuning in today. I know it's been a longer video, but I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I've been sewing because I haven't had a pattern review in some time. And so I just wanted to share with you that I have been sewing and I'm doing a lot of pattern testing here. I also have a make that I have made for Minerva. But this was a little bit, it's more hush hush. Usually you can share your fabric, you can share what you're doing, whatever. But this one, because it's one of their, it's a program that Minerva have where they send you fabric as a kit. And they send you a kit containing the fabric, the pattern, and all of that. You know, everything that you need to make the pattern. So if you need needles, thread, elastic, buttons, whatever, they'll send you this kit, and then you sew it up. And then on launch day, that's when you go ahead and share the fabric and also the pattern. And so that's a little bit of, you know, hush hush. I have been doing that behind the scenes and making that garment as well. And you'll get to see that pretty soon because launch day is coming in May. And so you'll get to see that really soon. But anyway, that is today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in and stopping by. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this video, please make sure that you give it a big thumbs up. I can't wait to hear from you all, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Bye.